At this particular moment in time, we got to get into the Los Angeles Lakers because breaking news this afternoon, Danny Hurley, the two-time reigning defending national champion of the UConn Huskies, will not be departing from Storrs, Connecticut after all to take the Los Angeles Lakers job. Reportedly, he was offered a 6-year, $70 million deal. And he told the Lakers to kick rocks, go to hell, I'm not really interested. He didn't use those words. The other platitudes came out of his mouth. He was very, very grateful to Jeannie Buss and GM Rob Pelinka, very enamored and intrigued by the Los Angeles Lakers job, very flattered that they was interested, etc., etc., etc. But the man that had recently signed a $32 million contract turned down a deal for $38 million more to join the Los Angeles Lakers. By the way, led by star LeBron James and, of course, Anthony Davis, two all-NBA players. I wonder why. There's a lot to get into. There's a lot to peel from this, but here's the bottom line. This, unfortunately, is kind of an indictment against the Los Angeles Lakers. I shouldn't even say kind of. I'm just trying to be kind. The fact of the matter is, if LeBron James is on your squad, if Anthony Davis is on your squad, and somehow, some way, you're in a situation where you decide that you're going to remain at UConn and coach the Huskies, who, again, are coming off of 2 consecutive national championship games. That's an indictment against the Los Angeles Lakers. Don't tell me about this love affair with Storrs, Connecticut. I'm not saying he doesn't have it. I'm not saying Danny Hurley and his wife and his family don't love being in Storrs, Connecticut. I'm not saying they're not East Coast people who want to stay East Coast people and they don't want to deal with the allure of Tinseltown, the warm weather, the palm trees, the sunshine. But damn it, the highest tax state in the country, okay? Don't get me started with the income tax that exists in California, okay? I know how disastrous it's been. Make no mistake about it. But you can't avoid getting into what this subject is really, really about. If the Lakers were a more attractive job, perhaps he'd be interested. I'd make a legitimate argument that if he got offered the New York Knicks job, he probably would have taken it. Now, you're not going to do that because Tom Thibodeau just did a hell of a job for the Knicks this past year. But the New York Knicks have 11 first-round picks over the next 7 years. Plus, they were in the Eastern Conference semifinals, a Game 7, 48 minutes away from advancing to the conference finals. They've got a future. What do the Lakers have? We don't really know at this particular moment in time. LeBron James is still all-world, but he's approaching 40. Anthony Davis is all-world, but he's brittle. Who else do you have? Don't get me started with D'Angelo Russell. That brother walks around in cruise control for everything. Austin Reeves is talented, but still got a ways to go. Vanderbilt ain't been healthy. Rui Hachimura is good, but not great. You just fired Darvin Ham and his entire staff. You're the Los Angeles Lakers, led by Jeannie Buss and Rob Pelinka. What do you have to offer? You've got the Lakers allure, the franchise, 17 championships, about to be clipped by the Boston Celtics if things continue to trend in that direction because they're about to capture their 18th championship unless the Dallas Mavericks do something about it. But you're the Los Angeles Lakers, that purple and gold, that Laker nation is supposed to be attractive. Tinseltown is supposed to be attractive. That warm weather in Southern California is supposed to be attractive. Not anymore. Not anymore. One could also make the argument that the Oklahoma City Thunder is a far more attractive job than the Los Angeles Lakers, despite its locale. They got Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, who's a star, who was my vote for league MVP this year. You got Chet Holmgren. You got this brother Jalen Williams. You got a multitude of draft picks out of the wazoo because of trading Russell Westbrook, because of trading Paul George, because of doing all the things that Sam Presti as an executive has done to position themselves to be able to get additional help so you can compete legitimately for a championship. What the hell do the Lakers have? You basically asked Danny Hurley to come to Los Angeles and ride the wave of LeBron James, who's about to retire in the next 2 to 3 years, and Anthony Davis, who we stopped the presses and put on the back pages everywhere because his brother finally played 76 games in one season. There's 82 in the season right away. He played 76. It was the most games he played in the regular season in his entire career. And then I'm looking at these salaries. You got LeBron James at $47 million. He's got a player option. He's looking to get a 3-year deal. But with that 3-year deal, the belief is if my son is available at that 55th pick, you grab Bronny James. So you got that allure hovering over you. You got Anthony Davis. He's at $40 million this past season. What is he at next season? 43.2, then 57.6, then 62.2. And then a damn player option in 2027, 2028 at $66.8 million. And you don't even know how many games he's going to give you, even though the brother's all world. So we got that going on. We got D'Angelo Russell. He's got a player option for 18.6 this year. He opts out. You can do some things. But how much can you do? What if he opts in? Who knows? He may not do so because he knows you're just going to ship his ass out of L.A. You got Rui Hachimura. He signed for the next 2 years. You got Austin Reeves. He signed for the next 2 years, and they got a player option for a third year in 2026. Gabe Vincent, there was an APB out for him all year long. We didn't see him until the playoffs. Vanderbilt was hurt for the playoffs, and he's locked in for the next 4 years. If you're the Los Angeles Lakers, what maneuverability do you have? As we look at the power in the Western Conference, Luka and Dallas ain't going anywhere. Sacramento's on the come up. The Clippers are still in town. Denver and Jokic and Jamal Murray going to come back. You know they're going to have something to say about it. Did you forget Ant-Man in Minnesota? Did you forget what a superstar he has emerged into? So I'm looking at all of that. And I'm saying there's a multitude of jobs that was better than the Los Angeles Lakers and what they were offering. I was hopeful that Danny Hurley would take the job. I actually believed he would take the Lakers job. Let me tell you why. NIL, name, image, likeness issue in college sports. The fact that the transfer portal was also relevant issues. And here's the biggest thing. I don't know if anybody has noticed this or not, but nobody gives a damn about college basketball anymore until March Madness. Ain't nobody thinking about this until it's time to fill out their brackets. Nobody gives a damn about college basketball anymore. This ain't the days of the Big East when Dwayne Pearl Washington and Mark Jackson and Walter Berry and those boys were at St. John's. And you had Ed Pinckney and McLean and those boys at Villanova. And you had Patrick Ewing and Michael Graham and Michael Jackson and Reggie Williams and those boys at Georgetown led by John Thompson with Hoya Paranoia. You had Syracuse. Even when Pearl was gone, you had Derek Coleman, you had Sherman Douglas, you had Billy Owens and cats like that. Hell, later on in the year, you had Sham God Wells, who's now an assistant on Dallas, starting at Providence. Big East was no joke. Had Luke on the second with a sweater, remember? The Big East was the shit. That has changed. Then you had the ACC. You had Kenny the Jet at Carolina. After Jordan, with Jordan, you had James Worthy. You had him. You had Sam Perkins and those boys. You had Duke. And then later on, you had Duke with Leighton and Hurley and those boys. You had Kenny Anderson and Lethal Weapon 3 at Georgia Tech. Kenny Anderson, Brian Oliver, Dennis Scott, 3D. Remember that? That's what you had. College basketball was it. Who cares now? Until March Madness. It's all about the brackets. And I thought because it was all about the brackets and you had already won 2 national titles, that him, Danny Hurley, being the high-end competitor that he is, would have been about competing at the highest level with and against the greatest players in the world. And that would be compelling enough for him to take the job. But the fact that it wasn't says a lot about what people think about the Lakers these days. I'm not knocking them. I love me some Jeannie Buss. And I respect Rob Pelinka. But there's a lot of people that got questions about them. And they don't consider the Lakers an attractive job, which is an indictment. So where do you go now if you're the Los Angeles Lakers? If you're Danny Hurley, you go back to UConn. You try to 3-peat. Plain and simple. And he might pull it off. You are the Lakers. Where do you go from here? I don't want to hear a damn thing about James Borrego, the former head coach in Charlotte and assistant coach. Just stop it. LeBron James doing a podcast with J.J. Redick for a reason. He ain't fooling nobody. I'm not saying he's sitting up there picking up the phone, calling Jeannie Buss and telling them what to do. That's not what I'm saying. What I'm saying is when Darvin Ham, who took you to the conference finals, when Darvin Ham, who lost in the first round this year, back-to-back years losing to the Denver Nuggets, but they were the reigning defending NBA champions when he lost to them this time around. They won the championship when he lost to them in the conference finals last year. The brother didn't do a bad job. But you doing a podcast with J.J. Redick in the middle of the damn season, knowing he was on a hot seat. And then it's the title of it, Mind the Game. So you're talking logistics. You're talking schemes. You're talking about things schematically. That was intentional. He knew exactly what the hell he was doing. And he didn't care. And Darvin Ham is out of a job. And now Danny Hurley has turned down the job, even though LeBron James is saying he's so damn good and he would have loved to have him as a head coach. But now that you don't have that, the likelihood is that the Lakers are going to come back to J.J. Redick. Now, for those of you who would say, what has he done? Because he's never coached. Neither did Steve Kerr. Neither did Doc Rivers when he came out of the booth and he got a head coaching job. Neither did Mark Jackson. So J.J. Redick is going to say, what about me? And he's going to have a legitimate case because everybody knows he's smart. Does that mean he can coach? No, but I bet that he can. And we got to respect the fact that LeBron respects him. We got to respect the fact that if it's what LeBron wants, no matter how detached he wants to be from the situation, no matter the reality that it has to be focused on appeasing Anthony Davis because he is the future, not LeBron, who's the best player on the Lakers last year. As great as Anthony Davis was, they went where LeBron James took him. And you know it's a priority for Jeanie Buss and the Lakers to appease LeBron James because he's the ultimate draw. Anthony Davis, as great as he is, ain't the draw. LeBron James is. You ain't doing a podcast about Mind the Game, talking schematically and beyond about the game of basketball with J.J. Redick, just for recreational purposes. There's a method to LeBron's madness. Having Danny Hurley there would have been great. And LeBron knows that. But if you got to go the NBA route, why wouldn't you go J.J. Redick? Would it surprise me at all if that's the route that the Los Angeles Lakers take in the event that, Danny Hurley passed and he's passed? Could they go a different route? Sure. We don't know what the hell they're going to do. But J.J. Redick is still in the mix. And this is a devastating blow, as far as I'm concerned, to the Los Angeles Lakers because it validates that they're not the franchise they once were, that they're not nearly as attractive as they once were, which means the Lakers have their work cut out for them. Congratulations for Danny Hurley. When you're that successful, you've deserved and have earned the right to do what you want. I wish Jeanie Buss and Rob Pelinka and the rest of the Lakers brass nothing but luck, nothing but the best. They're going to need the best of luck. Because there's no way around it. This is not a good look.